Hello out there. It's 3:59 Saturday afternoon, 27th of June. This is your and my favorite music and politics show, Between Rock and a Hard Place. My name's Pete Newcomer. And America has an attitude problem. Don't you love it? No, I sure do. I mean, here are all these middle-class, middle-aged, middle-of-the-road, middle Americans that are finally getting fed up. Those of us with short fuses were wondering if it was ever going to happen. I'm not talking about Joe Lunchbox, Rocky Raccoon, the Never Has-Beens, and their friends, the Never Will-Be's. I mean mainstream thinking people like you and maybe me. I watched the Space Shot Thursday with a couple of guys I didn't know. Not in a bar. Nobody was drinking. These guys had no patriotism. One of them said that the thing was taking up a satellite for Ted Turner, and he, Turner, should be paying for this shot. Other guys started talking about the fact that they're sending medicine to Russia, and he can't get medical care for his own family right here in the U.S. You have to ask, why? These are people who lived through the atrocities of the war in Vietnam. They remember all the bullshit of the Cold War and the gross lies of Grenada, Panama, Desert Storm. These people are veteran trickies. They've seen their standard of living drop steadily for 20 years. They've had about every kind of lie and every kind of trick that corporate America can pull on them. And now, just now, they seem to be waking up. It's late, real late. But maybe things are going to get going, and we are going to keep acting like farm animals forever. Maybe we are really going to start acting like the name of this show, Between Rock and a Hard Place. Here's Peter Tosh.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. You preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. You are dopey and you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold, and half a story has never been told. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Brothers, stand up for your rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Sisters, don't give up the fight. I'm begging you to get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. I said don't give up the fight. Cause you know most people think a great God will come from the skies and take away every little thing and left everybody dry. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours right here on earth. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Don't make them push you around. Stand up for your rights. Come on, brothers, get up, stand up. Be brave now, don't give up the fight. I say get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Don't let them hold you down. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Sick and tired of this game of technology. Humbly asking Jesus for his mercy. We know and we understand. Almighty Jah is a living man. You fools and people sent times, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Come on, our brothers, get up, stand up. Stand up. I said don't give up the fight. Don't let them push you. I say get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Come on, our sisters, get up, stand up. I said don't give up the fight.
I feel like Lenny Bruce. Hello, this is Michael from The Cynic speaking on the topic of censorship. Censorship. Personally, I think it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to the music industry since 70s punk. Most of the bands that these moral vigilantes go after are really terrible, so I'm all for it. Sorry about that, Jello. Really, though, it's nothing new. Since they cut off Elvis Presley's hips on the Ed Sullivan Show, this has been going on. The warning label has kind of become a status symbol almost now. If you can get your video banned, then that's probably the ultimate status symbol that you can possibly go for. As far as the cynics go, I think that we really want to get in on some of this action. I would encourage any would-be censors out there to listen to all of my lyrics. They're all about sex and drinking. Hint, hint, hint. So if you could get us a warning label on there, we'd certainly appreciate it. Basically, though, rock and roll is about rebellion. And when the uptight straight people stop picking on the rock and rollers, then there's something really wrong with the music. It's not rock and roll anymore.
Just to show how true that is, here's the Beat Farmers with King of Sleaze, one of our themes today. The Beat Farmers doing King of Sleaze. I'm not sure how bad the Beat Farmers are, just how sleazy they can get. I'm not real. Maybe they can't get organized enough. Who knows? But they're out there trying, and that's what counts. Sleaze it's not a new word in the English language, but when you're doing the news, it's the word that comes to mind from everything, as the commentary from everything from the elections to the British royal family, stops just short of the weather, really. So that's going to be our theme today in general, is sleaze. There's an interesting kind of couple of headlines here I'd like to share with the audience this afternoon. I see that Fort Devens up in Massachusetts has been selected as the site for a new federal prison. Isn't that great? All those jobs will be saved as America converts from military adventures to domestic repression. It makes a little chill go up and down my spine. Now just tell me there isn't any peace dividend, that the drug war isn't doing anyone any good. But really, is this depressing or what? The hell kind of place are we living in where the best thing we can find to spend all those cubic acres of military money on is prisons? My contention is that this kind of thing is what's producing all that bad attitude in the population that I spoke of in the intro to this show. The point I want to get at is that people's bad attitude has a real foundation. We are bitter and cynical because it's been so long since we had any good news. Most people are unable to articulate what is wrong, but they have come to the conclusion that all of this bad stuff is not just a series of accidents, and it sure as hell isn't caused by the alignment of the planets. We here between Rock and a Hard Place don't have the whole complete analysis in cash for you here and now. Even we are boggled when it comes to putting the whole thing together. We know that it has to do with what the great corporations need versus what the people need. But that's about as far as we go right here. Here's an article that throws some light kind of sideways on the problem. It's about Ross Perot, like everything else these days. And it says, it's Boston Globe today, inside the Beltway, they want anybody but Perot. Washington. When John C. White, a former Democratic national chairman, sat down to lunch with a former senator and 4 other prominent Democrats, the subject was Ross Perot and his anti-Washington campaign for the White House. I've got a phone call, but I can't take it now. I'll try to put one of my erstwhile assistants on the problem. His anti-Washington campaign for the White House. After dining with his 5 stalwart Democratic friends Thursday, White said, "It was clear to me that if they can't have our guy, Bill Clinton, in the White House, they would prefer to have George Bush there." Suspicions confirmed. Why? Uncertainty, White explained, is a terrible thing in politics. His 5 friends and many others in both parties here, he said, are, quote, extremely leery about what a Perot presidency would do to the status quo. Of course, what we're now getting at is the reason for Perot's immense popularity, is editorial comment. As White accounts suggest, the bipartisan Washington establishment, the so-called permanent government, is increasingly anxious about the independent Perot. Uncomfortable with his broadsides against the Capitol and its habits, the establishment is convinced that whatever medicine he prescribes if he's elected, it is going to find unpalatable. Of course, people like me think, well, at the very least, it will be interesting, even if it involves fascism and war. On with the Globe article. The capital that Perot is itching to lead is not so eager to see him arrive triumphant. In 2 months, as Perot has soared into the lead over his major party competitors in many national polls, bemusement at the Texans' political chutzpah has given way to concern and lately to outright alarm that he might prevail. Whatever states Perot may carry in the November election, said Frank Mankiewicz, public relations hack and longtime Democratic strategist, you can rest assured he will not carry the District of Columbia. The Washington status quo is very, very uneasy with Perot, says Stephen Hess, a Brookings Institution presidential scholar who has studied or worked for the last 8 presidents. That goes back, eh? That's what they mean by the permanent government. And this is it's guys like him who have basically caused the fact that nothing changes. If we understand them, we're going to understand a lot. Probably won't happen this same afternoon. People, he says, who do business in Washington have a very considerable knowledge of the system and the substance. It's not just that they don't know Ross Perot. It's the things he says are simplistic and often wrong. Translation, please. We and the corporations we serve find them worrisome. All but drowned out in this chorus of negative reviews, though, is a scattering of dissident voices, influential Washington fixtures who either support Perot or outright, think he has been a worthwhile addition to the presidential debate, or feel he's being unfairly hammered by press and politicians because he's a threat to a chronically comfortable, established order. How many of you out there feel like you're part of a chronically comfortable, established order? Lots of luck. We have, says some guy, we have a corrupt, crooked, rigged game in Washington, and this guy is promising to break it up. And that's a shock to the system, said Pat Choate, author of The Agents of Influence, which documented the ease with which lobbyists for foreign governments, especially Japan's, influence U.S. policy. Well, it's not just the Japanese lobbyists. I mean, those guys are certainly in the minority. In the lobbying crowd, he goes on, and the foreign agent business, a lot of people are ballistic because Ross Perot represents an economic threat. This has nothing to do with ideology. It's money. This man Choate, has become a supporter of Perot, who has vowed to slam the revolving door that former government officials use to make fortunes lobbying the agencies they left. Okay, so what? Let me just enlarge on this a minute, because I think it occupies a smaller space in this article than it should. The revolving door that former government officials use. So in other words, if you are in, say, the Federal Communications Commission, you then quit the Federal Communications Commission and go to work for, I don't know, RCA or CNN or somebody like that, and get the government to make rules that will benefit your new corporation. It's in much the same way that, say, a person like General Haig is now what is he? He's on the board of directors of United Technologies up here. First he was a general, and now he is selling high-tech weapons to other generals, his late buddies. Okay, so that's I'm not going to vote for Perot just because those guys are scared of him, but it's a good start. And we're going to be doing, I hope, some more material on this show that will deal with those big guys. Meanwhile, here's a little country music to carry you along. It's an old Johnny Cash song done by Dwight Yoakam.
Fell into the rain fire.
that ending a little bit, but nothing serious. That was Dwight Yoakam, a guy from the coal mining country. His next song is called Miner's Prayer. It's dedicated to the memory of Luther Tibbs, a Kentucky miner for 40 years, he says, and my grandpa.
When the whistle blows each morning and I walk down in that cold dark mine, I say a prayer to my dear Savior, please let me see the sunshine one more time. Well, when will it be over? When will I lay these burdens down? And when I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from beneath that cold dark ground. I still grieve for my poor brother, and I still hear my dear old mother cry. When late that night they came and told her he lost his life down in the Van Leer mine. When oh, when will it be over? When will I lay these burdens down? And when I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from me that cold dark ground. I have no shame, I feel no sorrow, if on this earth not much I own. I have the love of my sweet children, an old plow mule, shovel and day hoe. When oh, when will it be over? When will I lay these burdens down? And when I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from beneath that cold dark ground. Yeah, when I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from beneath that cold dark ground.
Dwight Yoakam, Miner's Prayer, for a song of no particular social or political importance. Here's Bob Dylan with Country Pie.
Just like old saxophone Joe, when he's got the hog's head up on his toes. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie. Listen to the fiddler play, when he's playing till the break of day. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie. Raspberry, strawberry, lemon and lime, what do I care? Blueberry, apple, cherry, pumpkin and plum, call me for dinner, honey, I'll be there. Saddle me up my big white goose, tie me on her and turn her loose. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie. I don't need much, that ain't no lie, ain't running any race. Give to me my country pie, I won't throw it up in anybody's face. Take me up that old Beach Street, little Jack Horner got nothing on me. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie.
Well, that just stops, doesn't it? One more country song and then back to serious business on Between Rock and a Hard Place. 4:26 in the afternoon. I'll give you weather after this song.
If you ever get south of Cincinnati, down where the dogwood trees grow, If you ever get south of Mason-Dixon to the home you left so long ago. If you ever get south of the Ohio River, down where Dixieland begins. If you ever get south of Cincinnati, I'll be yours again. She pulled the letters and the pages of her Bible, and a rose pressed inside the book of Luke. For 14 years she'd write each day but keep it hidden, refused to even speak his name, but still she wrote. If you ever get south of Cincinnati, down where the dogwood trees grow. If you ever get south of Mason-Dixon to the home you left so long ago. If you ever get south of the Ohio River, down where Dixieland begins. If you ever get south of Cincinnati, I'll be yours again. At a cold gray apartment in Chicago, a cigarette drowns inside a glass of gin. He lies there drunk, but it don't matter, drunk or sober. He'll never read the words that pride won't let her sing. If you ever get south Cincinnati, down where the dogwood trees grow. If you ever get south of the Mason-Dixon to the home you left so long ago. If you ever get south of the Ohio River, if you ever get south Cincinnati, I'll be yours again. I'll be yours again.
Dwight Yoakam. Daddy was a coal miner, and so was his grandfather. And really, he's singing about a world that's probably already disappeared, even from his home area. That's a world of hard work, true love, honky-tonk nights, and hard liquor. I don't know what's going on down there now, but I expect it looks more like life on the welfare line. And country music it has never been accused of being behindhand when it comes to expressing emotions. But sometimes that's the way you feel, particularly, of course, when you've been drinking heavily. That's partly what that music is for. You know, many media wizards, like yours truly, are receiving certain messages via the fillings in our teeth, certain rumblings, creakings, and groanings coming from the power structure that indicate that all is not well with the so-called war on drugs. You know how it is when you're dealing with the ruling class, I mean our decision makers. They look like they're totally united on some policy or other until they begin to fight with each other, like they did in Vietnam. Then all of a sudden Bill Sixpack and Jennifer Housecoat start seeing the horrors of war on the tube at dinner time. Now, I think this process is just beginning to start up with this new war that can't be won, the drug war. Like, while they wanted to win that war, they acted as if the war had no costs, that America could just go on having 20 or 30,000 people murdered every year, that we could just go on putting people in prison at this rate forever, that we can go invade every Latin American country that didn't support CIA-approved drug dealers. Well, it's getting clear that we can't go on doing these things forever and ever, ad infinitum, on a sustainable basis. Nobody wants to really admit that the society is taking a pounding, that it can't go on taking, but they're beginning to hint at it again, just like they did with Vietnam. The Bridgeport Post newspaper had this to say about the Madison Avenue aspects of the war on drugs. It was called 5 Years of Fried Eggs and Firearms. It was Sunday last week. The largest public service ad campaign in American history has completed its 5th year. This is kind of interesting. I never thought of the drug war in terms of an ad campaign, or that it had a particular starting date. But it's the biggest one in history, and it's now in its 5th year, using everything from fried eggs to firearms to get its message across. That is, drug use is dim-witted, dangerous, and deadly. Has the message gotten through? Well, yes, says the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. That's capital PDFA. And they have the numbers to prove it. No, say critics, the campaign is ineffective among minorities, the poor, and in urban areas where the nation's real drug problems thrive. The debate is quite a change from the early days of the partnership, says President Tom Hedrick, who remembers getting a far different response when the consortium of Madison Avenue advertisers set up shop. I can't begin to tell you of the disrespect. I mean, to quote somebody in the Department of Justice who said, "What the blank do you martini-drinking, white-shirted advertising blank people know about drugs?" Hedrick recalled. Well, as it turned out, they knew quite a bit. Yeah, I'll bet they do, especially white powder, those guys. Back to the article here. Advertising agencies donated the talent of their top creative people. Production costs were covered by contributors, and media outlets donated the time or space to run the finished ads. Yeah, that's what they should have. They should run the whole drug war on a volunteer basis. You know, they could have had the cops donating their time, and the Army donating its time. The CIA would donate its time. Prison officials would donate their time. And, of course, the prisoners would have to donate theirs. Back to the article. The images concocted by a dream team of advertising top guns soon stuck in America's consciousness, particularly its egg-frying, "This is your brain on drugs" spot. The ad achieved such notoriety that egg farmers complained that it was damaging to their product. No, I don't think the cocaine people ever did that. Made that complaint. I don't think it damaged their product much. Back to the article. Another typical ad, a woman with a revolver stuffed up one nostril with a one-word caption, "Cocaine." They've had a tremendous impact on the popular culture of drug use, changing attitudes, says Dr. So-and-so. I give them a lot of credit for getting out the message. Drug use is not the popular culture. Yeah, in Another editorial aside here. Another thing that ad campaign did, of course, by demonizing drugs, it legitimized all possible techniques, all possible tactics, strategies, and everything else in the drug war. So by pretending that drugs were Satan, then the powers that be were unable to use. They were unable to essentially to bypass the Constitution in dealing with it. It has helped shift the mindset of America about the acceptability of drugs, said Rosenthal, another guy. Big ad survey cheese. I think it has helped firm up the resolve of most mainstream Americans that drug abuse is not sensible, that drug abuse is not a chic in thing to do. Guy hasn't been hanging around the bars that most of the rest of us are in. The partnership is not without its detractors. The agency has been attacked for its failure to deal with alcohol and nicotine addiction. My gosh, I never knew they were drugs. And for its lack of impact in inner cities. No, I'd rather think not. People who have no future, for them, the consumerism automatically is translated into drug use. A lengthy article in The Nation this year accused this group, the Partnership for Drug-Free America, of hypocrisy for attacking cocaine and heroin use by ads funded by Anheuser-Busch, R.J. Reynolds, and half a dozen pharmaceutical companies. I guess they want you to go to the doc and get a prescription for the stuff you like. We've been called a front for the alcohol industry. We do take contributions from cigarette and alcohol companies. I have no apologies for whatever, said Hedrick, who was the head of this Partnership for Drug-Free America nonsense. Now, things are even coming home to Connecticut here. You may know that the state legislature is in special session. Was called in, prompted by a shooting of a 6-year-old New Haven boy 2 weeks ago. And these legislators, they cry these crocodile tears about what's going on in the ghettos, and but the only thing that they can think of to make things better in the ghettos is gun control that isn't going to have anything to do with the ghettos anyway. And we'll get to the wider social ramifications of things directly here. So the legislature is sitting, and they are listening to all kinds of dingbat opinion, and some good opinion too, about what should be done about all of this, these shootings. And among those proposals being considered is legislation making it illegal for those under age 21 to possess or buy firearms. If these guys had done their homework, they would know that it was illegal now for you to do that. Kids cannot buy guns. And rewarding informants who tip off authorities to illegal weapons. Great. Another proposal would impose a 2-week waiting period for those seeking hunting licenses, allowing authorities to conduct background checks of applicants. Yeah. The next guy that you know that gets is sent up for drug-related offense who also has a hunting license, well, why don't you just call us up here at the station, okay? The reason I am ridiculing these things is that these proposals is they have nothing to do with the problem, if you define the problem as murder and other criminal uses of firearms. However, at the end of the article, this is Willimantic Chronicle now, and as I say, even Connecticut is kind of coming up through all the BS about this stuff. Laced throughout the testimony was the opinion of many that drugs is the underlying problem. This guy, Pastor, who is New Haven police chief, said New Haven's 50% school dropout rate is also a problem. But the solution was the topic of contention. After hearing testimony from Pastor about a drug gang that took in $500,000 a week, Representative William Wallenberg, Republican from Farmington, ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, wondered if the state should legalize drugs. I love this the next little outtake on this guy's mind. He's sort of set on idle. He muses, "We've got a war out there," he says, "and these are the weapons of war," Wallenberg said. "We're losing the war. Maybe we should legalize it." Amen, Buster. In USA Today, which was one of the early supporters of the drug war, but now seems to be getting off of that bandwagon, we have some cite drug war in killings. This article is 10th of June. "Not since the prohibition of alcohol has the murder rate been so high. And like prohibition, experts, especially economists, say law enforcement's efforts in the drug wars are a key factor driving those murder rates. The economists say violence is a natural and unpreventable result of outlawing popular consumer items such as drugs. It's a situation that develops naturally in the marketplace," says economist Mark Thornton, author of The Economics of Prohibition. He notes that murder rates rose steadily by 54% during Prohibition. When Prohibition ended, murder fell for the next 11 years. Interesting, isn't it? "The more police push on this market, the more it pushes back," said Thornton, an Auburn University economist. Then we have, of course, the other point of view. It's being USA Today. It doesn't matter how stupid. Elaine Crispin, spokeswoman for White House drug czar Bob Martinez, doesn't buy it. "If drugs were legal, the situation would be totally out of control from people crazed on drugs." I have to say something at this point. A person who is a spokesperson for an important, though basically rotten agency like the DEA, she should really know more than this. And a couple of other opinions such as that. Well-known economists Milton Friedman, Thomas Sowell, and others have called for an end to the drug war. A random survey of 117 economists in the Atlantic Economic Journal found that 58% favored moving towards decriminalization. And by the way here, decriminalization of drugs is apparently somewhat different from their legalization. May do more about this later. Baltimore Mayor Kurt Schmoke, in one of the 69 articles on violence published Tuesday by the AMA, argues that drug laws have created an epidemic of violence. He says that lesson has already been learned with alcohol prohibition. "We tried to engineer an alcohol-free society and it ended up with huge criminal enterprises, government corruption, children lured into unorganized crime, and random violence that took the lives of countless innocent people." Amen. I think that closing out the drug war would do a lot for this country, just like getting out of Vietnam did. Mainly, it would damp down the hysteria that the drug war creates. The shootouts, murders, the howling for the death penalty, and for stupid so-called gun control. Without the drug war, we could begin to really identify some of the problems we face. I think that a lot of people who are pushing the drug war don't really want us to begin that process, because I think that a lot of them, were we to identify the problems that we face, a lot of America's great corporations would have a lot more covering up to do than they do now. Like the fact, the problems that we're dealing with is that there is no structure of opportunity for people in this society who don't have special advantages. If you're an average person with an average education, well, you may expect periodic long-term unemployment in your life. You may expect retraining, 2.5 career changes, and with a little bad luck or if you crack under the strain, you might end up on the streets as a homeless person. That's what they're telling us. That's life. And that isn't me spreading a rumor. That's your high school guidance counselor, God damn it. What I'm saying is that all the hoopla and phony crisis atmosphere that surrounds the drug war is covering up what is really wrong. It helps you forget that your standard of living has been going down for 20 years. It helps aggravate people's racism, suspicion, paranoid fears. It justifies police practices that are in the same league with South Africa, Israel, Northern Ireland. I'm going to have another item on that later on in the show. Now, the people who made the so-called drug war, they are very aware people. They know how useful the war on drugs has been. They don't want to cash it in any more than they wanted to cash in the Vietnam War. But eventually they had to give up on that war because it was destroying the whole society. So is the drug war. We're going to hell with this thing. I just hope the jerks that make our decisions for us can get it through their heads before the whole place looks like Los Angeles. Now here's Bob Dylan again, one of his best.
You must leave now, take what you need, you think will last. But whatever you wish to keep, you better grab it fast. He understands your orphan with his gun, crying like a fire in the sun. Look out, the saints are coming through, and it's all over now, baby blue. The highway is for gamblers, better use your sense. Take what you have gathered from coincidence. The empty-handed painter from your streets is drawing crazy patterns on your sheets. The sky too is folding under you, and it's all over now, baby blue. All your seasick sailors, they're all rowing home. Your empty-handed army is all going home. Your lover who just walked out the door has taken all his blankets from the floor. The carpet too is moving under you, and it's all over now, baby blue. Leave your stepping stones behind, there's something that calls for you. Forget the dead you've left, they will not follow you. The vagabond who's rapping at your door is standing in the clothes that you once wore. Strike another match, go start anew, and it's all over now,
blue.
Technical trouble here in the station. Let's do a non-commercial.
Why can't I just tell it? I mean, you can tell your best friend anything, right? Yeah, right.
Then how come this is so hard? I don't want to get him ticked off. Man, this is embarrassing.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone they're too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Yo, Carl. Give me your keys.
Take the keys. Call a cab. Take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. A message from the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
I know you got them. I got them too. I got the blue tonight. Yes, I know you don't love me now, baby. I know the reason why. Because you got somebody now, baby. You treat me like a child. You say, see you in the... Oh, yeah, that's all. Gotta see me in the evening. Oh, you don't see him at all. Yes, I ain't got nobody now, baby. We're sitting here all alone. I just would you make up your mind, yeah, baby, and come on home, boy. I see you in the evening. Oh yeah, but that's all. If I see you in the evening, oh well, I don't see it all. home. She say see you in the evening. Oh yeah, that's all. See you in the evening. Oh, she don't see at all. Yes, I love you. I just can't help myself. You know I'm not crazy, little old girl. You loving someone else 'cause you see me in the evening. Oh yeah, that's all. 'Cause you see me in the evening. Oh, you don't see him at all. This morning now, boy, I call her on the phone, and then she had somebody to tell me, hey, baby, I'm not at home. I will see you in the. Oh yeah, that's all. I see you in the evening. Oh, you don't see him at all. My mother, she told me this morning, son, just before you go, she just really don't love you, boy. To find why you gonna go, she says, see you in the evening. Oh yeah, that's all. See you in the evening. Oh, she don't see at all. You're treating me this way, I will see you in the evening. Oh yeah, that's all. I see you in the evening. Oh, I don't see it at all.
A couple of songs there by Hound Dog Taylor and the House Rockers. It's either blues or possibly early rock and roll. Interesting guy. It's 5:01, and this is Between Rock and a Hard Place on WHUS Stores. I made another false promise when I said I was going to do the weather and forgot about it and went on to do other things. This afternoon, the temperature fell by about 15 degrees, then rose by about 4. Partly sunny with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Thunderstorms may be accompanied by brief heavy rain and small hail. Too late. High around 80, light, mainly west wind, chance of rain 50%. Tonight clear, low in the mid-50s, light northwest wind. Sunday mostly sunny, high 80 to 85. That's what you want to know, wasn't it? Well, usually I don't bother with the AP News on this show, but just to kind of aggravate your bad attitude. I thought I'd read you a few items here, choice ones. Abortion rights activists from Milwaukee say all 16 women who had appointments this morning at the Summit Women's Health Organization in Milwaukee have been able to get inside despite an anti-abortion demonstration going on outside. A spokeswoman for the Milwaukee Clinic Protection Coalition says abortion rights demonstrators will find the energy to keep the clinic's doors open as long as abortion opponents continue their protests. Then, Missionaries to the Preborn, that's the name of an organization, capital MP. Missionaries to the Preborn is in the second week of a planned 6-week protest against clinics in Milwaukee that perform abortions. My own feeling about that is that the people who run this country are not against abortion, but what they're doing is they're pretending that the people who do these anti-abortion protests are mainstream people. They're not mainstream people, a bunch of dingbats. Soweto, South Africa. African National Congress leader Nelson Mandela says strikes and protests have become the ANC's main weapons for ousting the white minority government in South Africa. Well, I'm glad it isn't talk anyway. Speaking today to about 15,000 supporters in the black township of Soweto, Mandela indicated that the ANC wants major concessions from the government before it will consider resuming talks. Mandela broke off negotiations with the government last week to protest the June 17th massacre of 42 black people and a stalemate in black and white negotiations on ending white minority rule. Now, this puts me in mind of another item that appeared in the New York Times this morning, which is headlined, Shamir is said to admit plan to stall talks for 10 years. Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir was quoted in a published interview today as saying he wanted to drag out peace talks with the Palestinians for a decade, while vastly increasing the number of Jewish settlers in Israeli-occupied territories. Talk about reading his lips, his mustache didn't get in the way of that one. Had he held on to his office instead of being defeated this week in Israel's national election, Mr. Shamir reportedly said, if he had held on to it, if he'd continued to be in, I would have conducted negotiations on autonomy for 10 years, and in the meantime, we would have reached 500,000 people in the West Bank. Now, to break in on this for a minute, you can see the similarity of this to the South African strategy, which was to conduct meaningless and purposeless negotiations, deliberately fruitless negotiations with the ANC, while the police and the army and the secret services strengthened up Brutality and his organization called the Inkatha Freedom Party, which then, of course, fought with the ANC. And so the point is that for the people like Shamir and de Klerk, the purpose of talk is to waste time. That's its whole purpose. It is just to waste time. So that when you have people, cynical people, who say that force is the only language that people like Shamir and de Klerk understand, you have to admit that there's a certain amount of reason for that kind of reasoning. There were, of course, the usual denials. A spokesman denied tonight that Mr. Shamir had been accurately quoted. The published quotations seemed likely to confirm his opponent's suspicions that the Prime Minister sought from the start to prolong the peace talks as long as possible. Yeah, it wasn't only his opponents that thought that. They appeared as the triumphant Labour Party leader, Yitzhak Rabin, certainly doesn't bear any resemblance to a dove either, said he hoped his plans to curtail settlement building in the territories would speed along the stalled $10 billion in United States loan guarantees sought by Israel to help resettle new immigrants here. Mr. Rabin, whose victory was officially confirmed today, also promised to take a, quote, more intensive, more flexible approach to negotiations with the Palestinians, and said that he would, quote, put more content in them. I think what's going on there is that the process of stalling has got to be made more credible, and now that the loan guarantees have been held up, it has to be made a little bit less transparent. Tremendous incentives are now being offered to Israelis to settle in the West Bank and Gaza. Gee, I didn't know that. And the article doesn't talk about that in any other point. These incentives will be eliminated, says Rabin at a post-election news conference for foreign journalists. I'm going to cut all the government money budgeted beyond what normal people get, he said. Normal people indeed. In Washington, of course, the United States today condemned violence in the Israeli-occupied territories that took the life of 3 Israelis and 2 Palestinians on Thursday. We condemn the senseless acts of violence in the West Bank and Gaza Strip yesterday, said the State Department spokeswoman Margaret D. Tutwiler, adding that we call upon all parties to reject violence and rededicate themselves to the peace process and reconciliation. What she's calling upon them to rededicate themselves to, of course, is that those same exact talks that Shamir just gave the lie to in the previous article. So that's what's going on in the white settler states. Meanwhile, back here in civilized America, Amnesty International said yesterday that Los Angeles police officers and sheriff's deputies regularly use excessive force, including shootings and beatings that sometimes amount to nothing less than torture. So those of us who thought that maybe the videotape beating of Rodney King wasn't the first time that that had ever occurred in Los Angeles appear to be vindicated here. Both agencies, that is the police and the sheriff's department, both agencies have taken steps to curb such force since the videotape beating of black motorist Rodney King in March 1991, but more work is needed, says Amnesty. Also yesterday, Willie Williams was privately sworn in. Interesting, isn't it, how quiet they are about this? Nobody out there with silver shovels burying Daryl Gates. The former Philadelphia police commissioner will take over immediately upon Chief Daryl Gates' retirement at midnight tonight. In a scathing report, Amnesty International said people who pose little or no threat to officers or deputies have been shot, beaten, shocked with electric stun guns, and bitten by police dogs. At times, it has even amounted to torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, the group said. The isolation of the middle class, eh? More often than not, officers and deputies have acted with impunity, receiving little or no disciplinary action, even in serious cases. Reminds you of places like El Salvador there. The 62-page report, based on a year-long study of the police department and county sheriff's department, said blacks and Hispanics bear the brunt of the violence. Yes, I imagine they do. The record on police brutality is appalling, said Ian Martin, Secretary General of Amnesty International. It is one of a number of current human rights scandals in the U.S. that undermine its credibility, America's credibility in promoting human rights internationally. Indeed they do. But, of course, not if you read People magazine and USA Today. But back to the origin of our civilization, London. The British tabloids are at it again. Today's Sun and Daily Mail say Princess Diana is pushing for a formal separation from Prince Charles by the end of the year. Both quote unnamed sources. Big flap about this these days. Papers say end of the 11-year royal marriage could spark a constitutional crisis. God help us. More about this later. The Daily Mail says the Prime Minister's advisors have already compiled a list of questions that could arise if the two separate. Among the concerns is what would happen to the children. It's still a bit short of a constitutional crisis here, but that's the AP wire. A book published earlier this month alleges that the marriage is over in everything but name, largely due to 43-year-old Charles's indifference to his glamorous young wife. Britain's tabloids have engaged in an increasingly bitter circulation war as they try to outdo one another in covering the alleged rift. Of friend of mine in Quebec had an interesting point of view on the British royal family. The Quebecois, of course, have been ruled over by the British in one form or another ever since 1760. And they tried a revolution in 1838 and it didn't work. And so I think they know the British royal family in a way that perhaps we don't. For us, they're sort of an interesting zoo-like attraction. But what he said about them was a serious thing. It was this. He says that definitely the royalty should be abolished. He said the very idea that some people are fitted by their birth to rule over other people is an idea like slavery. That is, it's something that we don't ever want to forget about. It's an institution that we don't want to disappear from our minds. But he said we certainly don't want to participate in it. And which I could certainly concur with. Ooh.
Born here like a rocket, right in the bucket. Born here like a rocket, right in the bucket. Shots, bullets, shots, rocket, shots, bullets. Shots, bullets.
Don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you are a bully, treat me good. If you are a bully, I beg you treat me good. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you are a jockey, nobody jockey for me. If you are a jockey, nobody jockey for me. Yeah. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, I'm so dangerous. I'm like a chopping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you eat asphalt, you treat me good. If you drink leg soup, you better treat me good. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you are bullbucker, nobody buck from me. Yeah. If you are dopey, away from me. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, walking size, I'm dangerous, dangerous. If you wanna live, treat me good. Warning you, if you wanna live, you better treat me good. Stepping, walking, cutting, flicking, jumping, chopping, walking, I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. I'm like a stepping, jumping, flicking, jumping, boring, I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. If you drink, mother, treat me good. And if you eat break, treat me good. Like a flashing lights in a rolling thunder, I'm dangerous, dangerous. I'm like a stepping razor, don't you watch my size, I'm dangerous, I'm dangerous. Oh, how I just cool enough.
Yeah, that was Peter Tosh, Stepping Razor, which followed Jimmy Cliff's Hot Shot. He gets so in such a state of mind by the end of this program that it's every day that I have to stop myself from playing this next piece. This time, I'm not going to stop myself. Here's Gil Scott-Heron.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner, because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run, or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on Report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watt in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
The revolution will be live. Well, I think after this program, we better definitely play the WHUS Fairness Doctrine and Disclaimer. So, rather than just reminding our listening audience that that is what the dial is for, let's do this.
From time to time throughout the day, WHUS Radio may present programs which contain controversial views on particular subjects. These views do not necessarily represent those of the management, staff, or licensee of WHUS Radio. We welcome and encourage opposing points of view. If you have an idea or opinion you would like to have aired, or if you would like to comment on our programming, please write to WHUS Radio, the University of Connecticut, Box U-8R, 2110 Hillside Road, Storrs, Connecticut, 06269.
And, of course, this has been Between Rock and a Hard Place. My name's Pete Newcomer. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's now 5:27 in the afternoon. I'm going to give you the weather again and a couple of public service announcements. Thanks for staying with us throughout this difficult day. This afternoon is going to be partly sunny with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Thunderstorms may be accompanied by brief heavy rain and small hail. I think we've gone through that phase. High around 80. Light, mainly west wind, chance of rain 50%. Tonight, clear, low in the mid-50s, light northwest wind. Sunday, mostly sunny. High 80 to 85.